Hi everybody, I'm starting something new. You know that I did the mythical tarot a series, but I'm going to start a series. It's just a short episode for every chapter. I'll be doing a different video. And I'm going to read all about this book, all our hidden gifts. And it's got to do with tarot. Might have to do even more with perhaps yoga, who knows. I've only read 3 chapters, but I'm going to start fresh from chapter 1 for you. I hope you enjoy it. And I can't do a podcast with a film, so I don't know what to do, so that's why I'm doing this. I hope I can find another way. So I've got a moving film, so you don't have to watch me reading. Okay, so I can perhaps if I do this, perhaps that's an idea. You can, and I'll do the reading afterwards. The story of how I ended up with the Chuki card. Tarot consultancy can be told in 4 detentions, 3 notes sent home, 2 bad reports, cards, and 1 Tuesday afternoon that ended with me being locked in a cupboard. I'll give you the short version. Miss Harris gave me in school a suspension after I threw a shoe at Mr. Bernard. It was payback for him calling me stupid for not knowing my Italian verbs. I responded that Italian was a ridiculous language to learn anyway, and we should all be learning Spanish because globally more people speak Spanish. Mr. Bernard then said that if I really thought I was going to learn Spanish quicker than I am currently learning Italian. I was deluded. He turned back to the whiteboard, and then I threw my shoe. It didn't hit him. I would like to stress that. It merely hit the board next to him. But no one seemed to care about that, except me. Maybe if I had a best friend, or really any close friend at all, I would have had somebody to vouch for me. Then tell them that it was a joke and that I would never knowingly hurt a teacher, someone who could explain how it is with me. That sometimes frustration and rage surge through me, sparking out in ways I can't predict or control. But that friend doesn't exist, and I am not sure I would deserve them if they did. In-school suspension starts on Tuesday morning, and Miss Harris meets me at her office and then leads me to the basement. In the 4 years I've been at St. Bernadette's, the sewage pipes have frozen and burst twice, not to mention the annual flooding. As a result, the 2 tiny classrooms down here are covered in grass-green mould, and a damp mildew smell permeates everything. Teachers try to avoid the scheduling classes down here as much as they can, so naturally it gets used a lot for detention, exams, and storing extraneous junk that no one can be bothered to throw away. The holy grail of this is the choky, and I didn't know what choky was, but it's a room apparently, a long deep cupboard that makes everybody or everyone think of the Trunchbull torture room in Matilda. Now there is a book to read. I've read it years and years ago, but I want to go back and read it. Miss Harris waves a dramatic arm at the cupboard. Ta-da-da-da! You want me to clean out the choky? I gasped. That inhumane? That is inhumane. More inhumane than throwing a shoe at someone, Maeve? And it's in the question, sorry, and that's where I go wrong. Sorry, I'll do that again. More inhumane than throwing a shoe at someone, Maeve? Make sure to separate general waste from dry recyclables. It didn't hit him, I promise. You can't leave me to clean this out. Not by myself, miss. There might be a dead rat there. She hands me a roll of black plastic bin bags. Well, then that would go in the general waste, and she leaves me there, alone in the creepy basement. It's impossible to know where to start. I start picking at things, grumbling to myself that Bernadette is like this. It's not like a normal school's. It was a big Victorian townhouse for a very long time, until at some time and some point during the 1960s, Sisters Assumptua inherited it. Well, we say sister, but she's not really one. She was a novice, like Julie Andrews, The Sound of Music, and dropped out of the nunnery, and started a school for well-bred girls. It probably seemed like a good idea when the number of well-bred girls in the city was about a dozen, but there's about 400 of us now, all bursting out of this crumbling house. Classes rotating between the drafty prefabs and converted old attic bedrooms. It's obscene how expensive it is to send your daughter to school here. I have to be careful about how much I complain in front of Mum and Dad. The other four didn't have to go here after all. They were bright enough to make it through free schools unaided. Now this is also a sign. She needs extra lessons, but you'll find that out later, so I won't go into it. But it's a school to help people that have a disability in remembering what they read or understand, or dyslexia or things like that. So it's like an extra tutoring school, and that's why also, and that in that side of the story, I thought, right, that is close to parallel to my story, trying to retrain myself with the difficulty of reading, and that's another reason. There's so much that hits you home with this book. It's amazing, like being alone, not having friends, or being misunderstood. And I love that, and it's like if people in Ireland, I've got a friend in Ireland, so I thought, right, I had to think of her right then and there when she said Caroline is from Ireland. But there's more coming. And Saint Bernadette is one of my favourite saints. Saint Bernadette costs about €2,000 a term, and wherever the money goes, it's not on health and safety. I can't even step into the chokey at first because of all the broken old desks and chairs that are stacked up inside it, blocking the entrance. At first, wave or waft of rot and dust hits my nose every time a piece of furniture comes free. I try to carry each piece out and make a neat pile in the corner of the classroom, that when the chair legs start coming loose in my hand, smacking against my legs and lathering my tights, it gets less orderly. I throw my school jumper off and start hurling the rubbish across the room like an Olympic javelin. Champion. It becomes cathartic after a while. Once all the furniture is gone, I'm amazed to see how much space there is in the chuki. I had always thought it was just a big cupboard, but it's clear it's used to be some kind of kitchen pantry. You could fit 3 or 4 girls in here, no problem. It's good information to have. There's no such thing as too many hiding places. It needs a light bulb or something, though. The door is so heavy, and I have to prompt it open with an old chair, and even then I'm working in the near darkness. The furniture, however, is just the beginning. There are piles of papers, magazines and old school books. I find exam papers from 1991. Bunty annuals. I used to have the Bunty. Again, going home. Bunty annuals from 1980s and a couple of copies of some magazine called Jackie. I spent a while flicking through them, reading the problem pages and the weird illustrations, soap operas that play out over 10 panels. They are ridiculously dated. The stories are all called something like Millie's Big Catch and A Date with Destiny. I read A Date with Destiny. It turns out Destiny is a horse. When I reach the back, things start getting really interesting. A couple of cardboard boxes are stacked against the wall, covered in a thick chalky dust. Pulling the top one down, I open it and find 3 Sony Walkmans, a packet of Super King cigarettes, a half-empty bottle of Crushy Peach schnapps, and a pack of playing cards. There's also a single hair slide with a little silver angel on it, looking very pure and holy, next to the fags and booze. Fags are cigarettes. I try it on briefly and then get worried about it. So throw it in the bin bag. Only one Walkman has a tape in it, so I stick the headphones on and press play. Wow, amazingly, it works. The cassette starts turning. Holy crap. Now, there is a difference in the English language and the American language, and fags are not gay men, they are cigarettes, okay? That's why I will have to try to remember, if I know the American term, that I can explain it. A playful, plodding bass line thrums in my head, or thrums in my head, and I would have written drums in my head. Dum-dee, dum-dee, dum-da. A woman's voice whispers to me, childlike and sweet. She starts singing about a man she knows with teeth as white as snow, which feels like a dumb line. What other colour would she expect them to be? I listen, clipping the Walkman to my skirt. Most of the songs I don't recognize, but they all have a grungy, arty edge. Well, I don't know what grunge is, most probably heavy. Okay. To them. Songs where you can hear the bad eyeshadow. I can't remember the last time I listened to something and I didn't know exactly what it was. I'm not even sure I want to find out. It's sort of cool not to know. I listen to it over and over again. There are more about 11 songs in all either the very high-pitched men or very low voices. It could be the Bee Gees' high-pitched voices. Okay. Men or very low-voiced women. I pop open the cover to see that it's a homemade mix. The only decoration is a white striped label that says Spring 1990. I tried to lift another heavy box, but the damp cardboard box splits at the bottom and comes crashing down on me, smacking me full force in the face. Something must hit against the door because the chair I was using to prop the door open suddenly topples over and the chuki door slams shut. I'm plunged into stinking darkness. I grabble around for the doorknob and realize there isn't one. Maybe it's not a pantry after all. Maybe it is just a closet. The music keeps playing in my ears. Now it doesn't seem fun and bouncy, it's creepy. Morishi is singing about cemetery gates. The tape gets stuck and I pound on the door. A little hiccup at the end of the words gates. Hello, I shouted. Hello, hello, I'm stuck. I'm here. I'm stuck in the chuki. The cemetery gates, cemetery gates, cemetery gates. The cupboard, which had felt so roomy just minutes ago, now feels like a matchbox about to be set alight. I have never thought of myself as claustrophobic, but the closer the walls press in on me, the more I think about the air in the room, which already feels so thick and stale that it might choke me alive. I will not cry, I will not cry, I will not cry. I don't cry, I never cry. What does happen is actually worse. Blood rushes to my head, and even though I am in complete darkness, I see spots of purple in my vision, and I think I'm about to faint. I grapple around for something to steady me, and my hand falls on something cool, heavy and rectangular, something that feels like paper. The battery is starting to die on the Walkman. Cemetery gates, cemetery gates, cemetery. And then nothing. Silence. Silence except me screaming for help and banging against the door. The door flings open and it's Miss Harris. I practically fall on top of her. Move, or Maeve, she says, her expression worried. Despite my panic, I still feel smug and how concerned she looks. Take that, bitch. What happened? Are you okay? The door closed on me, I said in a burble. The door closed and I was stuck and I... Sit down, she orders. She fishes in her handbag and brings out a bottle of water, unscrews the cap and hands it to me. Take small sips, don't be sick. You are panting, Maeve. I'm okay, I say at last. I just panicked. It is lunch. Is it lunch now? She looks really worried now. Maeve, it's 4 o'clock. What? You mean you said you haven't taken lunch? You've been here this whole time? Yes. You told me to stay here. She shakes her head and as if I am the magic porridge pot that keeps spewing porridge relentlessly until she say the magic word for it to stop. Do you know, she says, walking into the cupboard, I briefly considered closing the door on her. It's amazing what you can do when you apply yourself. I had no idea there was so much space in here. Sorry. You are a magician. Well done. Thanks, I repeated weakly. I guess I'll become a cleaner. I think you should clean up in the bathroom and go home, she says, and I realize that what a state I must look. I'm covered head to toe in dust, my tights ripped, and there are bits of cobweb stuck to my school shirt. Are you sure you're okay? Yep, I said, and a little snappy this time. I'll see you in the morning. We can figure out what to do with all this furniture then. She makes her way to the door, fixing her handbag back on her shoulder. She takes one last look at me, then tilts her head to the side. She says, at last, I never knew you were into tarot cards. Here we come. I have no idea what she's talking about. Then I look down. There, clutched in my hands, is the deck of cards. And that's the end of chapter 1. I hope you liked it. Take care. And I hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye. This is the reading that goes with chapter 1 from the book, All Our Hidden Gifts. I hope you enjoy it. It's really getting exciting. I love it. Maeve does swear a lot, but I don't like that much. Okay, the reading for chapter 1, we've got Judgment, New Beginning. Well, it's chapter 1, so the cards have heard. Also, Rising from the Ashes, the Phoenix card. Could be a second chance, a reconciliation that you might not be seeing. Okay, so this does resonate with the chapter as well, because she talked about her best friend about a year and a half ago. They never got connected. Perhaps she should see that she can approach her friend and try to get connected. So get out of your head, Maeve. Okay, see whether you can apply this to yourself. Perhaps you might be stuck in your head and something could be gnawing at you or mulling. You might be mulling. So throw away those thoughts, open your eyes, take off that blindfold, open your heart and your solar plex and see what's happening around you today. Also, we have the angelic doorway. The angels are with you and are giving you a new beginning, confirming card 1. See what is around you, because there's lots of riches around you and not just in front of you. And if you can see, you might see the 9 of Pentacles, the discs with the stars, or the circles with the stars, as she described them. 9 is an ending and a new beginning, going into the lap of luxury, a new phase of life. There can be news that you've got the job, or you've got a wage rise, or that you have won the lottery. You could be dealing with the Knight of Pentacles, which is Taurus, Virgo or Capricorn. You also have the Ace of Swords. If you are doing exams, or if you're in a competition or in a judicial situation, victory will be yours. You could be meeting or dealing with a Gemini, a Libra, but also there could be new communication. So again, this does resonate with picking up communication with somebody that you haven't spoken to for a while, through cyber, email, text message, or a telephone call. Also, a new beginning could be something new. This could be a study, this could be new communication, gaining a new knowledge, but victory will be yours. Okay, there's also something better coming in after these endings. So I hope you've enjoyed this reading and this first chapter. Take care.